Breaking news out of Washington State. Brand new court audio has just dropped in the Travis Decker case. U.S. Army vet accused of killing his 3 daughters during a custody visit. It is still on the run. We're going to break it all down for you. This is all breaking news. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Would greatly appreciate it, and consider sharing this out. Thank you all so much for joining me. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is what is it? June 12th, 2025. It is currently 10:13 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Hello, hello, hello. You all so much. Where is he sleeping? I know, Jana. Some breaking news, yeah, coming out, and it is on the Travis Decker case out of Washington State. And let me tell you something. We're going to hear Travis's voice for the first time. It's about a 2.5, maybe 3 minute recording. I have not even listened to it all. Dirty Dino, woohoo! I'm on time, yes. So this is not going to be an extremely long live or anything, but I do want to go ahead and get it out there because this is breaking. Also, the sheriff out of Washington is kind of speaking on some things, and we're going to cover that briefly. But I need y'all to hit that thumbs up button. You know how we do. So, all right, guys, let's get right to it because this is interesting. Travis Decker is believed to be alive in that area. Just days ago, a couple days ago, there was hikers in the area, and they noticed a man who was trying to be avoided, and they sent the tip in to law enforcement. Law enforcement was in their helicopter. They spotted the man, and he tried to hide from the helicopter. They also used canine search, scent, and got a trail, but I guess that trail fizzled out because they haven't got Travis Decker yet. That they've broke anyways, but he's got to be around there somewhere, and it's presumed that he is alive and could be extremely dangerous. So we're going to get to that. May 30th, 2025, around 5 p.m., Travis Decker, he picks up his daughters rather, beautiful Peyton, who's 9 years old, Evelyn, who is 8, and Olivia, who is 5 years old, for their court-appointed visitation. At around 8 p.m., Decker fails to return the girls, and mom is officially reported them missing an hour and 45 minutes later at 9:45 after not getting any text message, call back from Decker. The phone was going straight to voicemail. Not until June 2nd, 2025, just 10 days ago, Travis Decker's truck was found with bloody handprints, and the girls were found with zip ties over an embankment at Rock Island Campground. They were discovered with evidence of suffocation with plastic bags and zip straps around their wrist. There has been 3 counts of first-degree unaliving, kidnapping, and custodial interference charged with Decker. He was supposed to be a father, but now he's the primary suspect in the triple child homicide. Now, there is some newly published court audio, and get ready for this because we're going to pull it up. Ecole. Here we go. Travis Decker. This is, again, his voice. His voice. We're going to see what Mr. Decker sounds like. Here we go.
When I was separated from my original active duty, I came out into the civilian world and tried to figure out a way that I could live as a civilian. I didn't have family, I didn't have friends, I didn't have any support, especially coming to a state where I didn't have anybody to lean on or a couch to go sleep on. So when we initially went through our divorce, I went and put the uniform back on full time so I could support myself and support the family through the first big transition of dad not being at home anymore. Once I fulfilled my year obligation, I talked with my chain of command and stepped down from full active duty and transitioned into, my contract ended in December of 2023. Starting over is hard, and I'm starting at the bottom, and I've got a long way to go, but I don't think that it should restrict the time that I get to be around my daughters.
We're not trying to take these children away from Mr. Decker. We respect and appreciate the fact that he loves his kids. That's obvious by the fact that he's attending their events. It's just important that they have this consistency in their lives.
Since I have been gone, every time I've had the girls, we have been in campsites in national forests and paid campsites that have campers. We've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't want to put myself in. I understand that my current position when I'm by myself isn't ideal, but my daughters aren't a part of that. I only get to see them over the weekends, and camping is something that the four of us have done since the three of them were in diapers. I've never done anything I feel like that puts them in any sort of a risk that most families in the state of Washington, every campsite we've been to in the last month have been almost completely booked out or sold out because everybody's out this time of year. When I stepped away from the National Guard, I was making $86,000 a year, and now I make, I think it's like $38,000 a year. When you start over from zero and you don't have help in a hand to get you through it, makes it a little more difficult.
One of the things I need to consider when I'm looking at the best interest of the children is stability, and that's not stable. It's not stable having them in different places every time you have them. That's concerning to the court, regardless of whether it's in an RV, whether it's in a tent, whether it's in Airbnb, whether it's in a hotel, a motel. That's not stable, and that's always a concern for the court.
There we have it. I did not listen to this because I wanted to get a raw, unadulterated response. And I cannot believe this. So I'm going to go through it again, and I'm going to give you my response. Oh my God, I got chills. I literally got chills. So he's not broke. He's making $38,000 a year. I mean, respectfully, is that homeless income? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it's homeless, but it's not a lot. But the median per capita income in Washington State as of 2022 for his area is 75, or for Washington State is 75,332. Median household income statewide is 94,952. For Chelan County, per capita income in 2010 was 24,378. Median income estimated for 2023 is roughly 90,000 based on similar sized counties like Pierce County at 91,000. What is okay, per capita personal income for 2022 for one person is 24,400. Individuals earning in Chelan are much lower than its statewide per capita average. Okay, let's go through this
When
again.
I was separated from my original active duty, I came out into the civilian world and tried to figure out a way that I could live as a civilian. I didn't.
So, I mean, listen, I don't take away that he has been, active Army. I don't take that away. I thank him for that. However, so does everyone else. Everyone else comes out of the civilian, goes into the civilian world and then tries to get a profession. That's no different than anybody else. He's talking to the judge, Find Summer's Truth. This was his child hearing. Just like the sheriff of the county. He was former military. Most of them get a job in law enforcement or whatever. That's no excuse. Now, I want to be clear and I want to have a little compassion here because not everyone comes out of the military the same either, right? Some people go back into the civilian world just fine. Some people don't really adapt too well after they've seen and done what they have seen and done, right? So there's that. Yeah, Webbs. I mean, 40,000 won't go far with 3 children, absolutely, but he's by himself 95% of the time. Okay? So there's that as well. He's at 38,000 a year. So your house payment or your rent and all that, it's supposed to be about 30% of your income. So I don't know how much he pays in child support either. I forgot he has to pay child support as well. But he had not been paying child support for quite some time. And then they'll take, ever so much of your income. So there's that as well. Let's go.
I didn't have family. I didn't have friends. I didn't have any support, especially coming to a state where I didn't have anybody to lean on or a couch to go sleep on.
So my question is, I mean, I don't know why they moved to Washington, right? They are from Wisconsin, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I think it's Wisconsin. So roommates is how people are surviving. Yeah. Yeah. Or they'll rent a room or whatever, just the room. So there's that. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think the wage garnishments also set him off. I think it was the 2 accidents within a couple weeks. And I really think the cherry on top is that he asked Whitney to get back together, and Whitney declined his offer when he was literally telling the kids, Daddy's moving back in. Well, Daddy didn't move back in, and Daddy took the life of all 3 of them.
So when we initially went through our divorce, I went and put the uniform back on full time so I could support myself and support the family through the first big transition of Dad not being at home anymore.
Okay. So he says, so he puts the uniform back on so he can make money. right? And dad not being at home anymore. I mean, he's clearly asking for sympathy here, clearly. It was, I think this was, let me see here. Their divorce was in 2023. I think this was September of 2024, if I recall correctly. Let me check. Divorce, or sorry. Let me check here. When was the court recording? Did the court recording? Okay. Let me see. Search results. I'm pretty sure it was September. Yep, September of 2024. Yep. That September 2024 is when Decker pleaded to maintain his visitation rights, even as the court tightened restrictions due to the questions about his mental health and housing circumstances.
Once I fulfilled my year obligation, I talked to my chain of command and stepped down from full active duty and transitioned into, my contract ended in December of 2023.
Okay. So he says, I talked to my chain of command and it ended in December of 2023. He wasn't showing up for his training. I mean, unless I'm getting the two wrong, but yes, Lee, yes, exactly my point. Exactly. So, are you really sure you talked to your chain of command there, Travis? I've been listening to this in earlier live. Oh, I'm sorry, SL, honey. I hope you feel better. Me, Your Honor, about me. That's what these narcissists do.
Starting over is hard, and I'm starting at the bottom, and I've got a long way to go, but I don't think that it should restrict the time that I get to be around my daughters.
We're not.
So, again, Whitney's attorney, Ariana Cozart, she makes it very clear. It's not that they are wanting to restrict Travis, but he is homeless, right? And listen, I agree. If the parent is homeless, I think they should still be able to see the child, right? But it should be a supervised because they have nowhere to go, right? Maybe they can be taken out to lunch or whatever, a little play date at the park or whatever they do. But 3 days a week, Friday 5 to 7 p.m., Saturday, I think it's 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's a lot of time for those kids to be with dad and not having a place to go. It just is. It really is. It's just a lot of time to be sitting in a truck with 3 kids. Right? Going to his training's depression. I agree with that. That's a very good point, Winterin. His command should have checked on him. Clearly, something was wrong for him to stop going to his trainings, depression, etc. Command needs to be more accountable for their subordinates. Agree. I agree. I think, you just can't let. I think they need to do better with checking on their subordinates. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. As the United States government, military, needs to take better care of their subordinates. He hadn't unalived his kids then, but clearly something has been wrong. And this is what uh, Whitney's attorney, Ariana Kozart, is saying. His mental state is not as good. He's clearly homeless. We're worried about the kids, right? We're worried about their well-being. Ordering a psych evaluation, allowing unsupervised visits. That math ain't mathing. Ordering a psych evaluation and allowing yeah. I agree. Yep. Hello, Shirley. Hello, darling. Kelly K, thank you so much for renewing the membership, my dear. Good to see you. Really do appreciate it. I have a cousin that is a big time narcissist and don't care to be around him. They're very hard to be around. All right, so this is Ariana's Kozart saying, kind of pushing back on it.
Not trying to take these children away from Mr. Decker. We respect and appreciate the fact that he loves his kids. That's obvious by the fact that he's attending their events. It's just important that they have this consistency in their lives.
Since I have been gone, every time I've had the girls, we have been in campsites in national forests and paid campsites that have campers. We've never.
So he's saying that since he's got the girls, they go to campsites. And I noticed his words here. He says, this is very interesting. Since I have been gone, every time I've had the girls, we have been in campsites and national forest and paid campsites that have campers. They might have campers, but did you rent a camper? It's not cheap to rent campers, right? And if you can rent campers for 3 days a week, then you can probably find a room, right, as well. So that's a little interesting for me. He doesn't say, we've been in the campers or anything. I think he's wanting it to seem that way, in my opinion. But I don't really know about that. I think it's interesting choice of words.
Campers, we've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't want to put myself in.
Well, that changed. That changed. Now, by all intents and purposes, I want to say the videos that I have seen of Travis in the past with his kids, he looked like a great dad. Like a great dad, right? But also, people generally don't put themselves on video at their, ungreat times. It's a very unfortunate situation. It's a very unfortunate situation. Dude could have stayed at an extended stay hotel. Well, he was staying at some hotels at some point. That's the thing. He was actually staying at some hotels at one point or another. I don't know with this. Like, I really want, this may sound bad, But I would rather know he had a mental breakdown and did this to his kids than just being evil or wanting to get back. And I don't know how I feel on that, because if he's clearly running, that generally shows you know what you're doing, right? So that's where I really struggle with this. When he had overnight visits, yes. We've never done anything that was unsafe or anything I wouldn't want to put myself in. They coexist. I will say that as of lately, he had a very well-paying job. He worked with my cousin for a great construction company that pays pretty darn well. Thank you so much, Coexist. Why haven't you sent me the deets? Come on, girl, you text me. um, yeah, he did work for a construction company. Now, I want to say that allegedly, I don't know if this is your cousin Coexist or not, but I will say that the evening that Travis did not bring the kids back, this boss of Travis, that was a construction company, I can confirm, text Whitney back and was concerned about Travis's mental health, saying, I can't remember, I'll have to check my notes, but it was something to the effect of, I'm afraid he's going to snap, or he's not in a good place, something to that vicinity. And also that he may have been getting bullied by other adults at work. Now, I guess bullying takes place at work places. I guess it can. But I generally sense that more with females. You know what I mean? Like, have I ever been bullied at work? Like when I, you know, I mean, I've gotten arguments at work, but I can't say I've gotten bullied. You know what I mean? I mean, can adults be bullies? We see it all the time here, especially on the internet. But I don't know why they would, like, why are they bullying him? Allegedly, it was because I think that they would say, they would talk about allegedly his hygiene or whatever like that, like because he was allegedly homeless. But let me tell you something. That is such a stereotypical thing, and it should be, and it's absolutely false. If you are homeless, it does not mean you're dirty. It does not mean you're on drugs. It doesn't mean you have mental health problems. It doesn't mean you stink or anything like that at all. Right? And if you're not homeless, you can be dirty. You can be on drugs. You can stink as well. So there's a lot of people that are homeless, because homeless doesn't mean you're on the streets necessarily, right? When we think of homeless, we think of someone on the street with, like, a cup, God bless kind of thing, right? But that's not the case. Some people choose to be homeless. They travel constantly, right? They'll have a Planet Fitness or whatever gym membership, and they'll find their local Planet Fitness, and they'll go take a shower and work out and do what they do. Or they'll live in their car, SUV or whatever. So, Holly, same. There's no in between for me. I either look like a beggar from the times of Moses, or I look like I'm ready for the runway, honey. One way or the other. I've probably done more than 3 notifications in a 24-hour period. It's probably why I didn't get one. I live with my son, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get there's just different types of homeless, right? Like you said, you lived with your son. Um, I mean, if you're renting, does that mean you're homeless? Right? No, it just means you rent. You know what I mean? You got a home to go to. My dad lived in his truck and camper in General Motors parking lot. Mm-hmm. That's right, Cindy. That's exactly right. Very true.
I understand that my current position when I'm by myself isn't ideal, but my daughters aren't a part of that. I only get to see them over the weekends. And
Okay. That right there. I understand my current position when I'm by myself isn't ideal, but my daughters aren't a part of that. I kind of beg to differ because they are a part of that, right? I mean, and I mean this respectfully. He's still homeless, whether he's with his daughters or without of his daughters, right? If you are renting, there are big motor home parking places. Yeah. Right. And like, if I was him, I would have got like an RV. He's making 38,000 a year. Some are houseless and some are homeless. That's a good way to put it, Drew. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. I work with the homeless. There's a spectrum. Some are houseless and some are homeless. Good point. Very good point. Yes. Right, Denise. Denise says I have $12,000 a year income, no one to help, and I pay all my own bills, but I have lived off the grid for the past 11 years. My income has almost doubled since I started, though. Wow. Wow. God bless you, Denise. God bless you. I hope your income increases and increases. I pray that for you, honey. I do.
I only get to see them over the weekends, and camping is something that the 4 of us have done since the 3 of them were in diapers.
And this is the thing, camping might be fun for the kids for a little while, right? Barbara, let me tell you something. Majority of us are. The majority. A huge percentage of this country is only one paycheck away from homelessness. Let me tell you, one of my best girlfriends, she works at a bank, and That is so true. That is so true. So it makes me wonder what kind of debts he has. Twice a month is a lot of camping, in my opinion. Well, yeah, I mean, 6 days, almost a week out of what is there generally 4 weeks in a month? He's got him a week. That's quite a bit adding up, right? Jersey Devil, that's a good question. I was talking about that yesterday. Does anyone know if he's taking any sort of medication? Good question, because I was thinking about that yesterday. If he's, and again, I'm not a doctor, but if he's on any SSRIs, depression, OCD medications, things like that, and that starts wearing off, that's not going to help his mental state. Now, many times people with SSRI drugs, they will begin working really good and then they quit taking it. It's very common for people with bipolar disorder and that kind of thing. And then they go manic or they go, something like that. This could be the case in this. If so, you would understand a little bit better, maybe. But we have no idea at this point that I'm aware of. Let's see here. It's probably not going to tell us. They said that the resources was not, okay. Allegedly, Travis was not taking any antidepressants, and he reportedly refused court-ordered mental health treatment, which was likely included medication. So there's that. But then, Whitney says, because he was ordered to take anger management, I do know, in court, and he didn't take that. No, he wasn't caught yet. I can't imagine borderline personality disorder with PTSD. Yeah, I mean, if you have PTSD and this is the thing, right? I may not agree with what Whitney says, but there is no way in God's green earth I could criticize that woman whatsoever, because I believe she's doing everything she can do right now to get through it. And sometimes, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just saying sometimes you have to tell yourself he had to be sick. He had to be sick, or there wasn't enough resources, or whatever. But this is the thing, in my opinion, and only my opinion. He didn't do the anger management, right? He went pretty much AWOL with his training, right? He had a hard time sticking to things, and that can happen with depression and a bunch of things, right? But if you refused psychological court mandated treatment, and if you go to the VA, right, they will write you very common SSRI medications, right? Now, they can offer them to you, but if you don't do your part, it won't work. It won't work. So I don't know. So I'm not really, I mean, is there problems in the VA? You damn right. You damn right. There sure is. They will tell you on day one of anger management, 90% will be worse than they were before the. Really? He had all the resources, in my opinion, but chose not to utilize them. I don't know. Whitney says, she says different. She says this was not a court thing. This is not an evil thing. Travis is not evil. He's not a bad person. There was not enough resources. Now, I'm not sure. And this is another thing. My biological mother has bipolar disorder. And it is and can be very rough if you have someone you love that has bipolar disorder when they are unregulated. But many times they will tell you that they're not getting the resources, or this happened and that happened, and they're actually lying to you as well. So I also wonder, was Travis lying to Whitney? Was he lying to her? Meaning, Travis was, did they offer him these resources at the hospital? Make him an appointment. Didn't go to it. Right? They usually pull benefits when you do that. You usually lose all your benefits when you dishonorably discharge. Yep. So that's good, prayer warrior. Thank you. That's so good for yourself. That's so good. Right? There's absolutely nothing. All of us will have, most of us will have some sort of mental health crisis at one point or another in our life. There is, a wide range, but nonetheless, it's nothing to be too proud of, nothing to be embarrassed of, and nothing anyone should judge you on, right? If you are trying to get the help, you can't help it. Your brain is sick or sick at the moment, right? Um, Coexist, thank you for that. I think it's really important to remember that where he was living is a very small town. There's zero way he had ample services. No way. So you think in your opinion, Coexist, you're saying that in that town there was plenty of services, right? Um, I think I showed those the other day. Let me see here. Uh, run there. Let me see. Yeah, because Travis, oh, this is a new one. We'll look at that in just a second. Travis, and this is another interesting thing, right? Travis was recently trying to make good again with people in his life that he, had a falling out with. And one included his brother, who he had not talked to in a long time. Recently, Travis had called him and tried to, make amends. And, it sounded like, I don't know. It absolutely should in the bushes. And the thing about mental disorders and all of that is we know so little how the brain works, number one. But just like any other part of your body, any other part of your body cannot work right. Right? No, not enough. Okay, so you think that there wasn't enough resources in the small town? Is that what you're saying? How far is the VA hospital from there? In my little hometown in VA, you have to drive 90 minutes. Oh, wow. That's what I was going to ask. Now, I know the VA will pay for like emergency room visits and stuff for veterans, if you don't live close by. I don't know if they'll pay for like the doctor though. It's not Courtney. There's no excuse, right? And this is the thing. Even if he was having a mental health crisis, he still killed his kids and he's still running. And that tells me that he knows he did something really bad. Esther says Decker didn't want to be told what to do and paid child support and got turned down. That's an opinion.
I've never done anything I feel like that puts them in any sort of a risk that most families in the state of Washington, every campsite we've been to in the last month have been almost completely booked out or sold out because everybody's out this time of year. When I stepped away from the National Guard, I was making $86,000 a year, and now I make, I think it's like $38,000 a year. When you start over from zero and you don't have help in a hand to get you through it, it makes it a little more difficult.
One of the things I need to consider when I look at the best interest of the children is stability, and that's not stable. It's not stable having them in different places every time you have them. That's concerning to the court, regardless of whether it's in an RV, whether it's in a tent, whether it's in Airbnb, whether it's at a hotel, a motel. That's not stable, and that's always a concern for the court.
When
I agree with the judge. Whether it's an Airbnb, it's not whether it's in a hotel or motel, that's not stable. Kids need stability, right? Kids need stability. They need repetition. They need routine. And staying at a different tent every weekend was not the right thing to do. I think he got pissed off at that. I think he got pissed off that Whitney wouldn't take him back as well. Listen to me. Barbara, I agree to you. My father-in-law is from another country. He was a military man. And there, they give you housing for the rest of your life. They give you health care for the rest of your life. They give you a pension for the rest of your life. They give, if you die first, they give your wife a pension for the rest of her life. And they give family members discounted health, like the kids. We live in the richest nation that the world has ever known. It can be done. It should be done. It absolutely should be done. Right? When you get out of the military, do they pay for your housing? They don't pay for your housing. Mm-mm. Hell no. Full medical, full everything. They even give you a driver to drive you places. And I don't mean like a bus. I mean like a private driver. He wanted to punish his ex for not letting him weasel his way back in. Yep, I agree. Military people are glorified too much. This guy killed kids. I don't think that they're glorified too much, but what I will say is I think Travis here was manipulating it for sympathy. I don't think a soldier should do that, to manipulate what they did to benefit them once they are in the civilian world. Right? So I will say that. But I appreciate them very, very much. All right, now, what is this? Okay, we're gonna look here at what the brother said. See if he said anything new. Who is this Cody Casey in the Toronto Sun? This is Travis Decker interview, but I guess what did he do?
Been extradited to Canada. Many Canadian criminals flee to more hospitable environs. Once Casey was tagged with Interpol red notice, though, he had no places safe left to go. 49 Canadian men are tagged with red.
He's arrested. Okay. Let's see what Mr. Decker's brother, the other Decker, says. Brother of Washington State man wanted for unaliving daughters speaks out. A brother of the Washington State man accused for unaliving his 3 daughters says his sibling abandoned his wife and kids and didn't financially support them. Oh, hell. Oh, my God. And he didn't mince any words. He did not mince any words. Yeah, it can, the pun. It can. Wow. Okay. The brother of the Washington State man accused of unaliving his 3 daughters says his siblings abandoned his wife and kids and didn't financially support them. Travis Decker, who has been on the run since the bodies of his children, Peyton 9, Evelyn 8, and Olivia 5, were found near Rock Island Campground in early June after they were not returned to their mother following a scheduled visit on May 30th. Thomas Decker, Travis's brother, said he doesn't know if his younger brother will surrender peacefully. Quote, I honestly do not know, he told the Britain Daily Mail. Let's see here. What did he say there? He might have said more there. We might go to that article in a second. I honestly don't know. We have been so disconnected for the last 3 years. Quote, I hope it's over soon. You know, there's a lot of people, not just within the family, but outside the family, that wants closure for this. Look at those precious babies. Why did you do that, Travis? All 3 girls were suffocated to death, were found with bags over their heads and bound with zip ties. Do you know, I was thinking about this today, and this is a trigger warning because I was thinking about what that man did. Sometimes hearing it and really going and thinking about it are 2 different things. You are such a fucking coward for doing that, Travis. Such a coward. You bound a 5-year-old. So what? She couldn't fight you? A 6-year-old? A 9-year-old? Why? Because it would make it easier? Think about that, y'all. That's what he did. That is despicable. They must have been confused. Can you imagine? I cannot imagine your dad coming up to you and bounding your wrist. You know what? So they couldn't pull it over their head. Think about that. Think about how fucking sick that is. So they couldn't pull that bag over their head. And so they couldn't fight back. Think about that. Barbara, I know. That is a level of depravity that is not only cruel for any human being, but for a child and your child. And all 3, I'm making this clear because I want people to see what a sick bastard. It's not just, oh, they suffocated. Oh, they were zip strapped. That's terrible. Think about it. All 3 of them laying there, zip strapped and screaming until the whimpering stops. They should make an exception in Washington State if he is still alive to electrocute the mother Fletcher. it is beyond. We're gonna get there. The search for 32-year-old missing father, wanted on 3 counts of first-degree unaliving and 3 counts of kidnapping, has entered the second week. As a child, Decker said they were best friends. Quote, "We did everything together. We hunted, we fished, camped, and fought with each other." They both joined the U.S. Army in their late teens. Quote, "At times, we were stationed at opposite ends of the world, but we stayed in touch with phones and emails. We rarely saw each other because our military careers," quote, end quote. However, that changed 3 years ago when Decker found out he would be stationed closer to where his brother was living. Quote, "Initially, Travis was excited about the news that we were going to be finally living in the same state. After all these years, I was excited. I have young kids, and Travis had 3 young girls. I thought we could reconnect with our wives and kids." Decker said after he moved, a call to his sibling left him taken aback as he appeared distant and uninterested, quote, end quote. Quote, "Months later, I found out that Travis and Whitney were getting a divorce. He was still living in the house, but every time I spoke with him, it's hard to explain, but you couldn't communicate with him. He listened, but wasn't listening. Soon after, Decker found out his brother was about to abandon his wife and kids. Quote, I told him, you can't leave your family like this. People get divorced all the time. If you're not happy in your marriage, that's okay. But your kids do not deserve this. Just because you are getting a divorce doesn't allow you to forego your parental obligations," quote unquote. Decker tried to help him and staged an intervention with their father. Quote, "We had hoped to have a good conversation with him, to ask him if he needed anything, any help, financial or otherwise," quote, end quote. He said, quote, "We are family. We wanted to help him and see what we could do to get him back on track. But things did not go well. He tried to resort to violence because we were not supposed to be there, and we just showed up unannounced." So they just showed up unannounced, dad and his brother, because they they was concerned about him. And he tried to get violent with his father and his brother. Your brother's one thing, but you get violent with your father, fuck you. You don't get violent with your elderly father. You know? Just watch Saving Private Ryan, then you will understand that's why my deceased husband, who was really past father, said to him when he asked, "Bless you, Lisa. I'm not being harsh, but his ego in pocketbook was greater than his love for his babies." Oh, 1,000. Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah. Well, even if you don't respect him, one thing, but don't be mean to him and resort to violence. You know what I mean? You cannot force him. Cannot. That is for sure. You know, it's terrible. So Decker clarified there was no physical violence during the intervention, but he tried to get physical. That's the thing, right? Let me see if he says anything here in the Daily Mail. Travis Decker's brother told him to stop the evil and turn himself in. Let me see what else. The off trail. Oh, here's Thomas Decker. Y'all want to see a picture of his brother? He's better looking than Travis. That's for certain. Not that that matters, but I'm just saying. There we go. He could have, D. He could have. He could have, but this is the thing. PTSD is nothing that is you are in a constant psychosis as well either. You know what I mean? I mean, PTSD, I mean, I have sympathy for anyone who has PTSD, whether they've been in the military or a traumatic situation. But this is the thing. He also allegedly, what he did by court documents, refused to do his anger management stuff. So, you know, people who, you know, you've got to be able to look at this. Oh my God. That is so sad. I feel so sorry for people like on New Year's and the 4th of July when they let off fireworks. You know. So there's that. There's Travis. The home where Whitney and her 3 daughters lived, it also where the intervention took place, which Thomas said escalated to the point where Travis, quote, tried to resort to violence, end quote, because he and his father showed up unannounced. Okay. She's a good mom. You can tell she's just a good mom. Those darling kids. She's got 2 of them have blonde hair, and she has beautiful brown hair. So cute. It's kind of like my family. Here is Thomas Decker and Jessica, his wife. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office says they believe they are closing in on Decker. This is such a beautiful area. They are really working hard. That's really terrible that this is going on. Let's see here. Tracks immediately acted upon the information and spotted a lone off-trail hiker. We know that already. Travis's brother says, I hope it's soon over. You know, there's a lot of people, not just me and my family. Okay, we read that in the other article. About how they lived. He says, after I moved out, I called Travis on the phone. He appeared distanced. Okay, let's see here. He's the one that wanted the divorce. That's the thing about it. He is the one that wanted the divorce. Hell, even Edgar went to anger management 3 different times, Picky Pear. 3 different times. He says, again, whatever I said fell on deaf ears. By the time he and Whitney were divorced, and he wasn't paying child support nor fulfilling his parental obligations. But Thomas said he had to eventually cut Travis off, adding that, quote, he was spreading lies about me and I no longer wanted to deal with it. Damn. Travis was lying on his brother. Uh-oh. Not good. Not good. I have worked hard for what I have accomplished, and I did not want his lies to ruin my career or anything. So I told myself I would not communicate with him anymore. So it sounds like, okay, let's just be honest here. I'm really trying to have some compassion here. I really am. But it sounded like he was a jerk even when he was with Whitney. If his brother, if Travis was lying on his brother, sound like he was supposedly fine then, right? That was years ago. And it sounded like he just went downward spiral. Yeah. He was, quote, he was spreading lies about me and I no longer wanted to deal with it. And I cut him off. And to cut him off was tough, rather. We grew up together. He is my baby brother. We did a lot of things together. And I thought we were going to be happy, one big happy family, take our kids on trips, be uncles and dads. It was tough. Now knowing that would be the case. Thomas last saw Whitney and the girls about 1 week before they were murdered. Oh my God. Bless him. That's very sad. Travis's brother seeing the girls and Whitney. You know, quote, we were being transferred again and we were going to be driving near where they live. So we spent the night in Wenatchee. We got a hotel and the girls came swimming. Oh my God, that makes me want to cry. And we had a little pizza party. We laughed and played and just caught up on conversation, normal family stuff. Whitney told my wife that she still wanted Travis to find help, but she never mentioned that she was concerned about her or her daughter's safety around Travis. Quote, Travis was still attending the girls' sporting events, but he still was not financially providing for the girls. Travis said nothing was out of the ordinary with Whitney. Sorry, Thomas said nothing was out of the ordinary for Whitney, adding that if he knew of any potential danger, he would have acted upon it. We did not get any vibe Whitney had any concerns of potential violence. Whitney told Thomas that Travis had been going to a therapist and trying to get help. Once he started doing that, she told Thomas he stopped going. Whitney told Thomas that Travis had been going to a therapist and trying to get help. Once he started doing better, she told Thomas he stopped going. Thomas said he can't speak on whether or not his brother had PTSD, saying, I don't know. I mean, everyone gets affected by different things differently. There are people in the military that can see the worst things and they're fine. And there are people that go to the office every day and they're out. Thomas said at the time they were originally speaking, they had plans to hang out. Travis was out of the military by that time. Then all of a sudden he changed. I don't know what changed or why. It was something I have been trying to figure out the past 3 years. I feel like was it PTSD or was it having kids, getting a divorce, being homeless, and all of that that triggered him? I don't know, but to me, that's what it sounds more like, in my opinion. Sounds like he sounded okay for those 3 years. Yeah, coexist, you're right. It does seem like it was something. I think there was a lot of things that happened to him in May that pushed him. September and May is what pushed him over the edge. Something changed in his spirit. Yeah, absolutely. Travis was infantry in the U.S. Army from March 2013 to July 2021 and deployed to Afghanistan for 4 months in 2014. Well, he was only there 4 months. I mean, not only there 4 months, but 4 months is not a long time to be in Afghanistan. His mom passed away in late 2023. He was in 2 accidents in May. Right. He was training in navigation, survival, and other skills. Authorities said he once spent more than 2 months living in the backwoods off the grid. The guy on the wanted poster for murdering my 3 nieces is not my brother. I know, said Thomas. I can't even comprehend what is going on. I am in complete shock that he would do something like this. He loves his daughters, and at least I thought he did, and Whitney is devastated beyond belief. Thomas said if given a chance to talk to his brother, he wants to ask, why, Travis, why? Why did you do this? Why? But he does not think Travis would be honest, asking, can you trust somebody that did something like this to give you an honest answer? His brother says. Thomas said he is cooperating with law enforcement, speaking to them just days before his interview with the Daily Mail. They wanted to know anything I knew about Travis, other phone numbers, emails, addresses, likes and dislikes, what he likes, habits, etc. They want to get an idea of who he is. The GoFundMe is at $1,230,585. That's amazing. That's amazing. As for Thomas, he just wants to put it to rest. I hope this is over soon so we can get the start of the healing process and get some closure. Wow. That's crazy. It really is. Yeah, show us some love and hit the thumbs up, please. Did he cause the 2 accidents he was in? Allegedly. It can change in a second. It can in a second. He could, D White. I mean, as bad as it is to say, I would rather it be that. You know what I mean? I would rather it be a health thing than just doing, you know. She was here last night, Chantel. Have those beautiful girls been given a burial yet? No, I don't think so. Let me check. There are currently no plans announced for any funeral services for Lily, Jack, or Malaya. Uh, One second. Uh, Hold on 1 second. 1 second. I was looking at the wrong thing. Let me check something. I was looking at the wrong thing. Uh, Search. As of today, no funeral services have been announced for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. Yeah. That's sad. I cannot imagine. Fuck. I cannot imagine. I said Jack and Lily. Yeah, sorry. I was reading the wrong thing. I apologize, guys. I cannot imagine. What, Little Miss Sunshine? They what? What? 7 minutes ago, they did what? I'll wait for your answer there. You mean funeral arrangements? Oh, look at this. June 20th. They're having memorial services. Will be held June 20th at 7 p.m. at Rocky Reach Park. The park will be open to the public at 5 o'clock. Due to limited parking, there will be shuttle services available to the public. Shuttles and parking will be available. Old Station pickup will be in front of Confluence Technology Center. I don't know. Hopefully they'll have his ass by then. The court in Idaho had to keep Tyree and JJ Jermaine to Chad Davis was found last year. Yeah. Not to be graphic, but Tylee and JJ were already buried, and Tylee had she was incinerated. You know, I'm sure they'll be watching if Travis shows up. No, Travis ain't gonna show up. I was like, I just can't imagine, right? Like three of your babies. I can't even talk about it. I'm done. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you all very much. It is late here, and I love you all so much. Let's get justice for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia Decker. Guys, do me a favor. If you have not hit that thumbs up button yet, please hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to the channel. Take a chance. You'll love me, hopefully. Really do appreciate you, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. And after this live is over, maybe glance in the comment section and leave a comment or a smiley face or a pearl or some lips. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Glad I found your channel. Thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate this. Breaks my heart, man. Oof. I I have 3 kids, and I I breathe for my kids. I breathe for them. And I know you parents breathe for yours as well. Like I talked about earlier, just found you. Well, welcome. Thank you so much, Vicky. Welcome to the Pearl family, my dear. I don't know how she could sleep, poor thing. I don't either. But what I am praying for Whitney every night is that as she gets through this, that she puts that energy toward saving other lives, whether that's veterans' lives, children's, with the court system, whatever. I just pray she puts that grief into power. Thank you, Desiree. Good to see you, honey. Oh my God, plant lady, God bless you. 7 children. Bless you. All right, guys. Sorry, my drink's in the way. Maybe she can get more help for veterans. That would be nice. I pray so. I pray so, my dear. Yes, if you are a praying person, please pray for Whitney and the family, and Travis a resolution. I also pray that she can look Travis in the eyes and say what she needs to say. Or if you're not a praying person, send good vibes, good energy, well wishes. Lorraine, it might be, but they're the 20th, they're going to have a public memorial. Love you too, little Susie. Losing my son. No sunflower. Me either. No. Mm-mm. Love you guys. God bless each and every one of you. Really do appreciate you. And justice for Peyton. One second. Can y'all see me? Okay, I'm here. I think I'm here. Can y'all still see me? I think I froze. Okay, I'm good now. I think I'm good. Okay. Justice for Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. God bless you all. Good night, everyone.